What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sneaky Athleticism. As always, I'm your host, Zach Cronin, and today we are going to be talking about quite possibly the hottest player in the NBA Summer League, and that being the Houston Rockets' Reed Sheppard. Sheppard was the third overall pick in this year's draft after playing just 1 year at Kentucky. And full disclosure, I did not know much about Sheppard heading into this summer. I am probably not as educated on college basketball as I should be. However, I do take an interest in these prospects once they're at the summer league, once they get to the NBA level. And I'm trying to catch up on as many prospects as I can. With that being said, I do have the rudimentary amount of knowledge necessary to tell you that I think the projections for him were pretty realistic. I saw Bleacher Report, for example, had him somewhere around like Dante DiVincenzo or Kirk Heinrich. Those are two very good player comps in the sense that Sheppard would, at the bare minimum, contribute to winning basketball. If you look at some of his numbers that he posted in college, averaged 12 and a half points, 2.5 steals, which is extraordinary, 4.5 assists, shot 53.6% from the field, landed on the All SEC team, was the SEC Rookie of the Year. And there are bits of his game that would translate to the NBA. That was on display in college. Now he's at the Summer League, and the odds of him being more than Dante DiVincenzo or Kirk Heinrich are very apparent. I've watched his game against the Lakers. I watched his game against the Wizards. He, to me, looks like more of a Darius Garland kind of player. He's very crafty with the ball. He's a good facilitator. I don't know if I would consider him a point guard, but he is a good playmaker. He has an exceptional grasp on spatial awareness and positioning. He is also a surprisingly decent defender beyond just the steals numbers. And even then, a guy who is disruptive and is able to create turnovers is someone that you don't have to worry about being a liability. I think that he is going to fit spectacularly with the Rockets going forward, and I think that there is a lot for them to be happy about, and there is an excellent foundation on which they can develop him into a true go-to scorer for them. I think the most impressive aspect of Sheppard's start to the Summer League is how comfortable he looks and how in control he is. There is no fear. There's no fear from him. He moves like a professional basketball player. You watch him dribble. You watch his ball handling. You watch the variety of moves that he throws at defenders. You watch how he picks apart the defense. This guy is a bona fide professional basketball player, and that is coming during a time, especially with this draft, where we don't know how many stars are going to be in this draft. We don't know if there is even a star in this draft because the first overall pick was equated to Tobias Harris. That is what scouts and GMs thought of this draft. Not a lot of star power, potentially a bunch of good role players who can contribute to winning basketball, but everything that I've seen from Reed Sheppard so far, maybe he's not a superstar player, like all of his pieces, everything about him is a superstar, but if nothing else, he is a star scorer. He has the potential to average 18, 19, 20, 22 points on anywhere from like 47 to 49% shooting. There just really isn't anything more I can say. There isn't any more admiration I can throw out towards him because he just looks incredible. Now, we're going to go into a little bit of film study here, and I'm going to explain to you guys what exactly I see from him and how his game is so matured already. Before we get into this study, I want to address the elephant in the room here, and that being that Summer League may not be the most representative showcase of a player's talent because they're not going against Drew Holiday. They're not being guarded by someone like Drew Holiday. They're not being guarded by Derek White. They're not being guarded by Paul George. Regardless, there are fundamental skills that you can see when a player is on the court that you can decide, oh yeah, that'll definitely translate to the next level once he is fully adjusted to the rigors of NBA defenses. Reed Sheppard is undersized. He's an undersized shooting guard, which is why I settled on the Darius Garland comparison. He is not very athletic. None of this is unknown. He's always been small. He's always been not the most explosive athlete, but even still, he was the 33rd best recruit in the RSCI. He is a legitimately good basketball player, or he was a legitimately great basketball player, even in the limited minutes he played in Kentucky, although I don't know if I could consider 28 minutes per game limited. Whatever. I'm rambling. The point being, Reed Sheppard has the foundation to be a quality NBA player. Now, when you lack the physical attributes of some of your contemporaries, you're forced to develop other aspects of your game that the more freakish athletes won't develop until they're matched in the athleticism department when they're a little bit older, like a year or two into the NBA. Not only did Sheppard develop a three ball, he's developed a wide array of floaters, runners, teardrops, different and even subtleties like different kinds of crossovers, different kinds of in and outs that lead to mid-range pull-ups. His ability to score in a variety of ways at this age is another reason why Houston should be so optimistic for his development, because he can already get his shot off pretty much wherever he wants. And it's not about teaching at that point, it's about repetition. Now I'm going to stop yapping. We're going to discuss some actual basketball here. This is his game. This is his, I think it was his debut against the Lakers. A lot of name recognition on this court. There is, of course, Bronny James, Dalton Connect, Cam Whitmore and Reed Sheppard seemingly have great chemistry as of right now, which I think is great for the Rockets. He did finish with 23 points in this game. It's also him making the simple play. He's the trailer on this. Settles in. He could have taken this three if he wanted to, but early in the shot clock, try to get a better shot. You're in no rush to put points up right now. Pump fake defender goes by, one dribble, puts pressure on the defense because these two are they're playing 3-on-2. Where do you go from here? The lob is most likely cut off. This defender right here, and I apologize, I don't know the names of everybody. I probably should have been more abreast of that. He has to decide of whether to leave open this jump shot or guard the back door. He might not see the back door, which is why Sheppard is able to deliver this pass, because he gets tied up at the last minute running out to the corner to a guy that's not even there, who's already began his cut. That's a spectacular finish as well. Here he is playing off the ball. This is probably going to be his most natural position going if he's playing alongside Şengün and Green. But again, just finding the spot. You know that you could shoot around 40% from three. Just wait for the ball to come to you. I will say this spacing is shit. This spacing is ass, and it's just an aspect of the summer league. Like, you have 80% of the fucking basketball court on this side of the free throw line. Normally, you would probably have Sheppard slide down into the corner. This guy in the corner would cut through and free up that space. But regardless, again, these guys are young. This is a teaching moment for them. Ime Udoka is going to explain this to them. But nice quick release, catch and shoot. This is a very, very tough move. Double in and out. First one fakes it to see how the defender reacts. And then the second one, he commits. On that first in and out, this guy is getting screened. He doesn't react. The next in and out is to create separation. The Lakers are in drop coverage here. That is atrocious coverage. That is not good defense. You should not be this far off the three-point line. Especially knowing Reed Sheppard, knowing that this guy is a lethal shooter. You have to respect that. Also, going over the screen, not the move here. Just capitalizing on the mistakes that the defense is committing. That is something that works at every level. It doesn't matter if you're playing fourth grade travel, if you're playing high school, if you're playing D3. Capitalizing on when the defense fucks up leads to easy buckets. Even in the NBA, we've seen great teams get beat by not so great teams because the great team has a handful of mental lapses that ultimately decide the outcome. Sheppard's intelligence is NBA ready. I believe that this guy is going to be an immediately impactful rookie. Once again, Bronny James just actually gets torched on here, but you have all this space. Quick crossover. Another thing that is possibly underrated about being a smaller guard is that in the NBA or in basketball on dribble drives, low man is going to win. We see this even with guys who are not undersized, like Devin Booker gets very low on his dribble drives. Kobe Bryant would get very low on his dribble drives. And it's because when your hips are lower, your center of gravity is lower, you're able to blow by your man. And being shorter means that you're already closer to the ground. One dribble crossover, he's into the free throw line. He's below the free throw line before he makes this pass. That's crucial because you have to wait to see how the corner defender plays this. Also does a great job setting up the crossover. Boom, guy slides over. Pass into the shooting pocket. Easy. We once again have him working off the ball. And this is a deep three. He is not afraid to pull. And this is the generation of basketball players that we're seeing. More pick and roll. ISO. This was the move I saw this was the move that I saw where I was like, I have to talk about this one play in particular. You have the crossover. He doesn't blow by Dalton Connect. Connect actually kind of beats him to the spot. Recognizing that, Sheppard pulls it back, starts going the other way. Now, the double move that allows him to beat Connect is huge because on this fake gather, he hits him with an in and out because Connect goes upright. He bites on the fake. Just that little up fake with the shoulder, is enough to get by your man at this level. Watch it back in real time. Crossover, a lot of space to get downhill. Crossover back, in and out. Throws it in front of him, little floater. And these are the kinds of shots that are key for small guards. Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell. What do all of these guys have in common? They are not afraid to play off of 1 foot. They're not afraid to get jump shots in the mid-range. They're not afraid of a shot that is not widely beloved by analytics. I think that's the best way to explain it. However, when you have a player of that caliber, analytics go out the window and you're going to take your chances because they're going to shoot 50% on pretty much any shot. That is what I'm talking about right here. The defender is off balance at that point, and if you're able to manipulate how your defender moves in space, you're going to be able to create shots like this. And yes, it was a multiple dribble combo move. Sometimes those are not effective, but they're only effective if you're just using them as like size ups on the perimeter. And there is a time and place for all that, don't get me wrong. But when you're going downhill and you have to make quick, decisive moves, you have to be able to read your defender instantly. And that is exactly what Reed Sheppard did on that play. Pushing the pace here. We're going to see a lot of this with the Houston Rockets. I mean, they're just a young team. They want to get out and run. They have a lot of athleticism. The only thing, what's a little iffy about this right here is picking up your dribble. You don't want to do this in the NBA when you're going up against actual NBA players because they're just going to swarm you. They might poke it loose. If you don't see anything developing in transition, pull it out. He does, however, hit, I believe this is Cam Whitmore as the trailer for an explosive dunk. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with when you get to the three-point line, if you don't have anything developing, because you don't have numbers here. It's a 3-on-4, we'll call it. It's a 3-on-4 because there's 4 people in the front court. You could stop right here, maintain your dribble, make sure it doesn't get poked from behind. He gets bailed out because, fortunately, there was a trailer. Those kinds of things are what are most evident with young players. It's scenarios like that that they may or may not see in high school and college that they have to prepare themselves for. But as long as you're in a situation where the organization is good to you, the organization has a good player development staff, that kind of stuff is going to get ironed out anyway. And again, there's just so much talent here. I don't want to say natural talent because yeah, it's natural, but he's also clearly worked on being as versatile a scorer as he is. There's enough to offset any of those mistakes. And that's not even really a mistake because it still led to an uncontested dunk in transition. If you're a young guard, this shot right here, the mid-range elbow extended free throw line pull up off the pick and roll is crucial to your development as not only a playmaker, as not only a scorer, but just an offensive player, because you're obviously going to practice layups. You're going to practice your threes because this is just where the game is right now. But that in between is so crucial because it opens up not only your ability to score, but when you're not reluctant to take those jump shots, things are going to open up under the basket. If your big sets this screen, right? Going under, first of all, going under, great choice. Going over, not so much of a great choice. But the big is in drop coverage. Your primary defender is on your back, meaning if he tries to contest this jump shot, you're probably going to get 2 free throws. Don't force it. Don't force it because you're probably going to get rejected. Instead, step into your jump shot because you're going to be able to get this shot off before your man contests. Additionally, if this center, I keep using my fucking fingers for some reason. If the center closes out too hard on this jump shot, what do you have? This big is rolling. And then if you miss, he's in perfect position for an offensive rebound. That might be actually no, I'm going to say it again. That is the single most important shot to work on outside of your layups and your threes. I'll say free throws as well, but I kind of feel like free throws is a given. Everyone's shooting free throws, whether it's to warm up or whether it's to end your workout. We have truly reached insane levels of confidence from rookies. And it's not even insane confidence at this point. This is just normal behavior. This is like a fucking 31'3" being shot by a guy who I don't think can drink alcohol legally. Born in 2004. I'm so old, bro. Like, look at where we're at in basketball right now. And he makes that shit. He makes that shit. That's insane, man. Although, must say, at the next level, guards are going over this screen. No way. There is no way. I'm just thinking about, like, the Magic, right? Jalen Suggs and KCP. Going over the screen every time. I don't know why I'm thinking of the Magic. He plays in the Western Conference. But regardless, think of Minnesota. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Anthony Edwards are going over that screen every time. But still, the ability to capitalize on poor decision-making by the defense. His man went under that screen. It's only right that he says, fuck it. I'm him. Starts this possession away from the ball. There's some really intriguing actions that can go on with this when you just consider the roster that Houston has. You can start with Jalen Green initiating the offense and then run this kind of set with Şengün, with Amen Thompson, with Jabari Smith Jr., should you please. There's just so much. There are just so many interesting things that Ime Udoka can do if this guy is going to continue to play at this level. Comes up high and gets the ball, first of all. Comes back to the ball handler to make sure that this pass doesn't get jeopardized. Okay? Bit of a gamble. Runs your man into the screen. Puts his man on his back as the play develops. Does a good job recovering. And then a sweeping cross. A sweeping cross into a pull-up while fading away. The fadeaway necessary to create just that amount of space. Additionally, his man is shading to the left, so there's really no chance. Not that there's no chance, but since the defender is on his left side, it's less likely that the shot gets tipped. He just has to worry about the hand in his face. This is Calvin Johnson in the end zone. I know that this play was not uh, it was not pretty. And yeah, he got bailed out because of Cam Whitmore's athleticism. But being able to put this ball exactly where it needs to be. Again, you're 30 feet from the basket. You put this ball exactly where it needs to be so that only your man can go and get it. That's good passing. That's an assist. It led to a bucket. That's a good play. Comes up against the screen. Bronny overplays. This is atrocious. This is an atrocious closeout. His feet, he's doing a lunge. I could have blown by Bronny James if his closeout is going to be this poor. Your feet on a closeout should be square to the defender. The minute that you show a lead foot, the defender can capitalize. You cannot swing your hips around, and you are put in a compromised position. Bronny James's left foot is way ahead. He's off balance. He has no opportunity to correct himself. Sheppard, like, he turns around. Bronny James is a full half spin, and there's no way for him to get back into this play. Again, the spacing here is dog shit, okay? Like, this is not good. But also, Sheppard realizes that, okay, I can't get to the basket. I can't slide into the corner on a step back. I'll do a little awkward floater. I'll show off my bag a little bit. The same foot, same hand shot. Kyrie Irving is probably the best in the NBA at this, and these are grown man moves. The awkwardness, how uncomfortable this shot is no joke. And to be able to execute at 20 years old it's tremendous. I'm just so impressed with this young man. I don't want to say that he is already the best player in this class because that won't be definitive until the regular season is over. But he, among all of the prospects, has probably. Oh, actually, I don't want to say anything too inflammatory because I don't want to downplay any of the other rookies that are competing. But just based off of this, Sheppard he clearly deserved to be drafted 3rd overall. He's very clearly a high lottery pick in terms of his skill, his potential. This one game pretty much offsets anything negative about him, of which there wasn't even that much. He's a little undersized. Okay, whatever. It's not uncommon for smaller guards to succeed at the NBA level. He's not an elite on-ball defender. I wouldn't go that far, but he's disruptive enough to leave off the ball, and he'll maybe get a steal or two. He's not going to get his ass kicked on that end, which is huge if you're going to be playing minutes for a competitive team like the Houston Rockets. Really, I don't see any flaws in his game at this point outside of his youth. I think there's going to be a little bit of a struggle at some point. I do believe that Reed Sheppard will hit the rookie wall at some point, but his game, his foundation is so solid that I don't think it'll be much of an issue. I would not be surprised if he turns out to be Brandon Miller from this past year, where you have this guy who is just so fundamental in how he's able to score. And I did a video on Brandon Miller. I was wildly impressed with how polished he was on offense, and I do see shades of that with Reed Sheppard, even though he doesn't have the same physical attributes as Brandon Miller. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. Thank you guys so very much for coming to hang out with me today. As always, everything I'm associated with is down in the description box below. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on this video if you would enjoy it. Drop a comment as well. It really helps out with the algorithm. If you do any of those 3 things, you will become my new favorite person. And with that, I will see y'all in the next one.